Berlin is the most world city you can get within Germany. First impressions of Berlin after moving to Germany's capital. After hanging around in the south of Germany for quite some time, I decided I wouldn't anymore. Originally, the idea was to finally go see the world and also simultaneously try this digital nomad thing. Here's a picture of me on the blog, seriously trying to figure out whether to leave Bavaria. This digital nomad thing everyone seemed to be talking about until COVID happened, and now, for one, the travel thing got kind of impractical and everyone became a digital nomad anyway. The whole idea about digital nomadism is to work where you want to live. Your living location determines your working location, not the other way around. From home, basically. Sounds familiar? Now, I also did this thing called moving to Berlin. On the blog is another picture of me on my first Europe trip, thinking like, yeah, gonna do this travel blog soon, maybe. Then it would be nice to record random euphoric pics like these. So here's a picture with my arms spread at the top of Prague. Moving to Berlin, at least for a few months as of writing this, I was like, if I cannot really travel, I at least can move to the most worldly city within Germany, even though I wanted to broaden my horizon a tad, since till now all my travel days, summed up over my entire life, probably don't even add up to 3 months, and everything apart from a few hours all within one continent, Europe, and also COVID, I thought it might be wise to stick to the middle country of Europe at least a little longer. Berlin, you intrigued me when I first came here, stayed at a hostel near Potsdamer Platz and Tiergarten. I remember running in the morning, doing push-ups in front of the Brandenburger Tor and a workout in front of the Reichstag. Here's a picture of the Reichstag, a very popular location for doing morning workouts. So after the one or the other push-up, finally ran back and then saw the rest of the city. And it was nice. Not only the main attractions, but also the little things in between. Every now and then, I realized just how much the actual perception of reality is changing whenever you see the world through a lens, which was something I did pretty much whenever I went sightseeing in the last years. It's not a metaphor. I really spent most of my time when in an unknown city looking through my Canon 70D. I even told Sigmund about this, above a picture of me and Sigmund finally meeting my psychological partner in crime at Madame Tussauds Berlin. Or Madame Tussauds. And he was like, sure, but just to be safe, consider your subconscious for once. Then I came back without the sightseeing with a friend. I tried to go to the library, didn't work, due to me not having a lock with me, and due to the day being Sunday and no locks selling in Germany on Sunday. So I drove around with the tram instead, since I already had booked a ticket for the whole day. And here, for the first time, I saw a different Berlin. A Berlin where in the outer districts or Kiezes, people were searching for cheap ways to get around, like getting a döner for €3, including me. So while I was waiting for the train, a man spoke to me in broken German. He talked about this one döner shop in Pankow, where you could get a döner for €3. I gotta confess, I was intrigued. Budget traveler responding to budget offers while traveling. But I also just went with it. I also usually like talking to people, at least if I don't have tons of things to do. So I went. He told me about his life, his wife, his children. his disabled arm preventing him from finding a proper job. After I tried to ask cautiously, he told me about the fact that he came here decades ago and just stayed in Berlin. So we went to Dönerladen, and I ate the doner together, and I left him there. Since it already was time to go, it's not that I want to conclude anything. It wasn't anything specific, it just happened. And this is something you could probably say about much of today's Berlin. Sometimes I feel like I'm thrown back into another time. All these old buildings, often still looking like 1960. It's as if Berlin just didn't age, didn't change. Here's a random picture of Berlin. It's actually a river at night with a few light reflections of buildings. Failed to find a great picture for the not aging part, but this is also nice. But these are only some parts of the city. Mitte, for example, is just clean, modern. These modern apartments, shops, modern building apartments. Here's a picture of Mitte, near Central Station and the governmental buildings. Kreuzberg, on the other hand, just seems to be its own thing, especially whenever riding on a bike at night near the tram lines. It feels so strange, almost like Gotham, like a fancy version of Gotham. This is not a conclusion, but I just wanted to collect a few thoughts I already had about the city, visiting 2 times and now living here as of writing this. You cannot really pin down Berlin. It's so big, it's so different. Every day you seem to get to know new streets and parts of the city. Still, there is dirt on the streets, just like in every other city, I guess. But what makes Berlin so attractive is the fact it is so many things, offers so many different facets. And maybe it's just my perception, but I seem to see mainly young people here, almost no children or toddlers. Those are probably to be found more in the outer areas and Kietzes. A few really old people and a few middle-aged, but then just so many young people living in Berlin. Turned out to be an experience so far, a new experience. That's what I wanted, and I got it. I don't know if it's just me trying to be more open, also just using the just moved here narrative, but somehow people here seem to be very open. Talking to random strangers is not something only Malcolm Gladwell does, apparently. But maybe he got his inspiration when he was in Berlin.